What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Michigan State pulls out a gutsy senior night win at home, 53-49 over Northwestern, a game in which they trailed by 5 at halftime, ended up outscoring them by 9 in the second half to give you that 53-49 score. But this was just an ugly, ugly game the whole way. Michigan State shoots 11.8% from the three-point line, 32% overall, just horrific across the board. They did, I think, we're recording this late, just getting back from the game. We're recording this late, didn't fact check this or anything, but I'm pretty sure this is their best rebounding night of the year. 46 rebounds, rebounding Northwestern by 11, 46-35, holding one of the better three-point shooting teams in the conference to 33% from three, and honestly being one of the only teams this year who has been able to do anything to keep Boo Buie in check, and doing anything to keep Boo Buie in check against Michigan State. He has had his way against us for, seems like he's been there about 8 years, but his 4 or 5 years, however long it's been that he's been there. But yet to credit Northwestern, they really, muddied this game up while only playing 8 players. They had a lot of players injured, a lot of key players injured as well. And, shout out to Buie, Langborg, Barnhinzer, and Martelli. They all played 38 or 39 minutes, pretty much going the whole way. And Northwestern, just like Michigan State, had 3 guys in double figures. Buie, like I said, you held him in check, but he still had 15, but 6 for 13 overall shooting, 3 for 6 from 3. Barnhinzer had 11 on 4 for 11 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and Martelli had 12 on 8 rebounds on 5 for 12 shooting, and 0 for 2 from 3. But overall, just able to hold a pretty good offense in check for the most part, and this was just really a defensive game for Michigan State on that side. Seniors, this was really, I'd say three players and then one other determining factor. This was Malik Hall, who he said post-game that he had this game circled on his calendar after the way the last Northwestern game went. He had 15 and a career-high 17 rebounds. It's incredible, going 37 minutes. He basically had to be out there the whole game. And then Tyson Walker, that's 2. He had 19, 5 and 5, while also getting up 21 shots. Hey, he was struggling to make shots, but him and Malik Hall, it was their senior night, was not going out with a loss. Next, Trey Holloman. Trey Holloman came off the bench, played 25 minutes. A lot of that was because AJ was struggling for pretty much the whole game, and Jaden was struggling for the whole game as well. Jaden only played 24 minutes. He was 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. Trey came in, and obviously everyone's going to talk about the 2 free throws to ice the game at the end, but I think the biggest stretch was in the first half when Northwestern looked like they were kind of maybe starting to want to pull away a little bit. But Trey came in, had a couple of buckets, made a couple of big plays to keep Michigan State right there into it and not let it get, too out of control, and kind of steadied the waters there while everyone else was struggling to make shots at that time as well, and they did throughout the whole game. So I thought that was a huge sequence from Trey, and then obviously the 2 free throws to end the game, to ice the game with, whatever it was, 6 seconds left, 9 seconds left, whatever it was, when then that put Michigan State up 4, which eventually ended up being the final score. And then I'll say the 4th determining factor was the crowd. I mean, it was incredible. Boo Buie, I think, at like the 15-minute mark or 14-minute mark, somewhere in there, right before the under 12 timeout in the second half, he airballed a shot, and obviously the Izzone, everyone, the crowd was letting him hear it. Immediately, pretty much right after, went to a TV timeout. The airball chance went the whole TV commercial. The whole, 2.5 minutes, whatever the TV commercials all are. It went the whole time. And the whole rest of the game, anytime Boo Buie touched the ball, it was airballs. It was just electric the entire time. The crowd really kept this team in the game. And then even as Boo was walking off the court for the last time, as I said, he's killed us his entire career, but he was walking off the court his last time playing against Michigan State, unless they should meet in the Big Ten tournament next week. And they were still airballing him as he's walking through the tunnel. So just a huge shout out to the crowd. That was probably, besides the Illinois and the Michigan game, that was probably the best the crowd was all season long. Obviously, as we get ready to preview the regular season finale, versus Indiana on Sunday. We'll get into a little bit more about what was good, what was bad about this game, but just kind of quick hitters. As we kind of mentioned, AJ, struggled to really get going again. Jaden just could not buy a basket. I thought Jax gave you some good minutes. He had 3 rebounds, only took 1 shot, and he didn't, kind of as I mentioned a couple games ago, just not doing anything to shoot yourself in the foot. But then it was encouraging to see. We didn't see a lot of Xavier Booker or Cohen Carr, but we did see them in, I thought, key spots in the second half. Book was out there for a short stint in the first half, and then in the second half, he kind of got a little bit of a longer leash, and he was out there. He was able to make mistakes, was able to learn from it. Book, he didn't have a good game. He only shot one shot. He was 0 for 1 from the field. The pick and pop plays or the rescreen pop plays that he's been scoring on pretty much all year, they were doing an incredible job covering that. So that's why he only got 1 shot up, and he hasn't really developed that part of his game to get something into the paint. Should I say a shot attempt in the paint? So that's kind of where his game is at right now, and Northwestern did a good job scouting that. So the staff will have to find a way to try to make him effective offensively when he is in the game, because I think he needs to be out there to continue to grow, as we know. And Carr, thought he made some good, defensive, as we've been talking about. He, his offense, it'll come along, but I thought his defense, was key, and I thought that, he just makes those good instinct plays that it's just like, you just have to have a good basketball brain to make, and he obviously has that, and he was out there late in the game, for defense, and that was encouraging to see. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. As I said, we'll be back this weekend to talk about Indiana, preview that game, and get into the regular season finale before we hop into the Big Ten tournament this week. Now, and then 2 last things before we get out of here. Given some results that happened the last couple days, and obviously Michigan State's last 3 losses, I believe it's pretty much all but confirmed that they're going to be starting the Big Ten tournament on Thursday next week, so they won't get that double bye. I believe they can go anywhere from a 5 seed to a 10 seed, somewhere in that range. And then in terms of NCAA tournament, I believe they should be in with this win. Northwestern is pretty much a tournament lock, it seems like, across the board, but I think to just feel really good going into Selection Sunday, that win in Indiana on Sunday would be huge, or a win in the Big Ten tournament. One of those two, I think you're feeling good going into Selection Sunday. The second thing, which it's kind of really 2 things, but we'll talk about it. First thing, shout out to Keon Coleman. I saw him walk onto the court in some courtside seats, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Keon Coleman in a Steven Izzo jersey. And then you go on Twitter, and it was. So shout out to Keon coming back. Great to have a Spartan Dog back on campus while he's in the midst of NFL Combine and working out for teams, getting ready for the draft in about a month and a half. So that was cool to see. Then second, just shout out to the seniors. Obviously this probably wasn't the game that, anyone envisioned. I think this was the first, senior night game that I've been to where I haven't been able to actually take the seniors out and kiss the floor during the game, and having to do it out after the game. I know it's obviously happened before. I believe that's how Draymond's senior night went. But I think Draymond's senior night, I'm pretty sure they actually lost, if I do remember correctly. So obviously, thankfully, they got a win in this one. But obviously, probably not how the game wanted to go. But just shout out to all of them, everything done, whole careers here at MSU. Even though they might have not accomplished, at least to this point, everything that they wanted to accomplish, still hopefully have, some time to go to accomplish some more things. But yeah, really tonight, Tyson Walker, Malik Hall was not letting this team lose. Shout out to them. Shout out the rest of the seniors. Shout out the Izzone. Shout out the crowd that was in that Breslin Center. Was lucky enough to be in there as well, and it was electric. One of the best crowds of the year, as it should be for senior night. But thank you all so much for watching. See you this weekend to talk about Indiana. Peace out and go green.